Hello Trojans fans and welcome to Sait Center. I'm Alex Day.
And I'm Matt Pouncey. Alex, it's great to be back in our new studio again this year for a new year covering Trojan sports.
You bet. We've learned a lot over the last year and we're excited to bring that to you, and we're excited to bring to you what the Trojans have this year.
So in this week's show, we're going to take a look at the 2016-2017 Trojan season and see what it holds for each team. Let's get started with the cross-country teams.
The men's team is coming off a stellar year that saw them win the ACAC gold medal and come fourth at national championships. Coming so close to a podium finish has put a fire under the team. That helped them kick off their season with a team gold performance on September 9th. In the second Grand Prix of the year, it was Sait newcomer Matthew Treviglini leading the men to the top of the podium. Hot on his tail were teammates Jock Saman and Daryl Ross, finishing second and third, completing a podium sweep for the Trojans. Last weekend at the fourth event of the year, it was the Trojans once again dominating the podium with a 1-2-3 finish. But this time, the men weren't alone.
That's right, Alex. The women came up big in the Red Deer Grand Prix, matching their male teammates and winning the team competition. It was a true team effort as the ladies came together to finish 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 13th to capture the title. That isn't the only time the women's team has had success this season, though. The Trojans came in second on home turf in the second Grand Prix of the year after a tough start to the season that saw 2 of the team's 5 runners fall ill at the time of the race. Ricky Christopher led the red and white in the home meet, taking home 4th place. She was followed by Emily Mann in 7th and Hannah Daw in 9th. The Trojans coaches say they are looking forward to the women having more good runs leading up to the ACAC championships on October 28th. Now let's take a look around the rest of the Trojans team to see what is in store for you this year. Starting off with Corey Bukoskis and the men's soccer team.
The Sait Trojans men's soccer team is off to a hot start in 2017. With 6 wins and a tie, their record is good enough for first place in the ACAC South Division. Fresh off a second place finish in the ACAC and a national playoff berth, the Trojans are hungry for more. When you look for key factors that have caused this hot start, look no further than second-year forward William Accio. His 9 goals in 7 games lead the ACAC, and with Kyle Greenlee's stellar goaltending, Sait is no doubt a force to be reckoned with. So far, at least, all signs point to the Trojans making a solid run at a national championship this year. For women's soccer, we go to Zachary Rushton.
The women's soccer team is trying to rebuild the hot streak it had to start the season. The Trojans are currently leading their division with a 6-1 record.
The ladies have momentum on their side after a decisive 9-0 victory Sunday against the Lakeland College Rustlers. 2 school records were broken on that game, most goals scored in a match and the widest margin of victory. The Trojans have the weekend off and will travel to Olds to take on the Broncos next Saturday. Now over to Max Sturley with men's volleyball.
The men's volleyball team came close to making nationals last year. The Trojans lost in 5 sets to the Medicine Hat Rattlers in the provincial semifinals. The Trojans had a big hill to climb with new head coach Sean McKay at the helm. The start of the season was a learning process, and after the team and coaching staff had time to gel, it was nationals or bust. The men will look to improve on last season and have a chance at the national title this year. Over to Keith with the women's volleyball recap.
The Trojans women's volleyball team is set to kick off another season on Friday, October 13th in Olds against the Broncos. The Trojans will look to build on last year's 5th place finish in the ACAC championships. The team will have a tough time dealing with the loss of graduating power hitter Megan Brennan. Brennan is the all-time ACAC kills leader, so replacing her production will not fall on one woman's shoulders. Coach Art O'Dwyer will look to veterans like Simran Dami and Veronica Headley to show a relatively young squad the way. Now we go to Sait Center's resident baller, Mitch Taylor, for women's basketball.
With the ACAC women's basketball season getting ready to start, our Sait Trojans women's team have been gearing up for the season.
The women's basketball team started their run for a championship hosting the annual Fall Classic tournament before the regular season kicks off. The team went 3-0 in the tournament and played to their full potential. They defeated the Lakeland Rustlers, Grand Prairie Regional College, and Kayano College. The Trojans will hit the road next weekend for another exhibition tournament, this one in Lethbridge. The team hopes to carry this momentum into the regular season, and you can catch them in action on October 21st.
Make sure to check out your Sait women's basketball team in action. You can see their schedule online at sait.ca/Trojans. Now over to you, Mo.
The men's basketball team is optimistic after winning the school's 13th ACAC title last season. Head coach Marty Berkey led the team to Sait's first title in 16 years. Trojans guard John Smith Jr. was outstanding in the provincial championships, averaging 32.5 points a game. He capped off the tournament with a 40-point performance, helping him earn MVP honors. The team ended up finishing 5th at Nationals and want to improve on that this season. The men are currently in Cap Breton for a preseason tournament. The quest for a repeat at provincials and a national title begins October 21st when they host the Olds College Broncos. Now over to women's hockey with Taylor Chartrand.
The Sait Trojans women's hockey team looked to build off a successful 2016-2017 campaign. The Trojans season ended in heartbreak last year with a 3-2 overtime loss to the Grant MacEwan Griffins right here at the Campus Center. During the offseason, the Trojans would see a coaching change as Terry Larson would step away from the head coaching job and the athletics program hired Kelsey Leifson. Leifson spent the last 2 seasons behind the bench of the Mount Royal University Cougars as an assistant coach and says she is eager for the Trojans season. The Trojans would open Leifson's head coaching career 0-2 in the women's exhibition tournament, but she said it didn't matter. She wanted to get better after the tournament, and she thinks they did just that. The women's Trojans begin the regular season this weekend with a home-and-home against the Olds Broncos. With a look at men's hockey, here's Josh Ritchie.
The Sait Trojans men's hockey team are gearing up for their regular season to begin and are hoping to get back to the level that they know they are capable of playing at. Last season, the Trojans finished 3rd in the ACAC standings and just missed having a bye in the playoffs. Sait was eliminated from the postseason after taking a tough loss to the MacEwan University Griffins in the semifinal series. Dean Allison is going to continue to lead the Trojans after coming off a career year last year where he was named to the ACAC All-Conference team and finished the campaign with 38 points in 28 games. The Trojans will look to get revenge on MacEwan when they face them this Friday at 7 p.m. down here at the Sait Campus Center. Alex, Matt, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, fellas. This year on Sait Center, we are going to go more in depth with Trojans players, coaches, and staff. Each week, we will have a featured Trojan video showing the person behind the red and white and what it truly means to be a Trojan.
Our first spotlight is on the new women's head hockey coach, Kelsey Leifson. After the departure of head coach Terry Larson, Sait brought in the University of Regina alumni to lead the ladies in the right direction. Leifson has had a successful coaching history, leading the Calgary Fire Bantam AA girls to provincial bronze last year. Michael King got to know the Trojans' newest bench boss in this week's featured Trojan segment.
Starting the season with a new team means figuring out what you have to work with, everyone from rookies to returning talent.
Being new to the team, how much do you rely on the senior players in the locker room?
I think we have a really strong team. We've got a solid group of leadership as far as our veterans go. But even the first-year players coming in are incredible, and it's a really good group so far, and everyone's really willing to learn and have just kind of sucked in what we've been throwing at them so far.
You can see the full feature on our Lights Out Broadcasting YouTube page this Saturday. There you will also find our videos from last year and any other content we create going forward. The women's hockey team kicked off their home-and-home against the Broncos in Olds last night. The ladies lost 2-1 and will look for revenge this Saturday night at 7. The men's team has had their season opener at home tonight, taking on the Grant MacEwan Griffins, and puck drop is at 7 p.m.
The men will also be playing tomorrow night in Edmonton against the MacEwan Griffins, and the ladies will play at home tomorrow night at 7 against the Olds College Broncos as they look to get revenge for their first game. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll keep you updated on all things Trojans. That's it for us. I'm Alex Day.
And I'm Matt Pouncey. See you next time.